What I really want is some theme music, not no countdown. Welcome. Welcome to Two Mommy Podcast, where touched out meets outnumbered. I'm your host, Ashley, and this is episode 3, and it's called, What is this barbecue sauce? So, I am constantly trying to figure out what the heck is on Bryce's hands. I never know, but they're always so sticky and it just drives me nuts. Sometimes it's syrup, sometimes it's Pop-Tarts. And when I was writing this episode, it was barbecue sauce and it was gross. But anyway, if you are new here, make sure that you like, share, subscribe. I'm going to make sure that I add all of the links to the description box and also somewhere around here for you guys to be able to kind of share all that we're doing here, all of the fun that we're having. Well, at least I'm having. And so if you were here with us last week, we talked about the journey part of the journey, the work, how we had to work physically and spiritually in order for me to get pregnant with my son, and how wonderful that was, but how God kind of picked me up out of the darkest place that I've ever been. And at the very bottom of my faith is where he was waiting for me. And so last week we talked about how I heard Bryce's heartbeat for the first time and how wonderful that was. His first year of his life was beautiful. Being his mom was the thing that I was the best at since he was born. And so at his first birthday, I kind of was like happy with having the one. You know, I had adopted this idea that I was content with only being his parent. I can give all my love to this little boy and it was going to be great. And I figured that I could just, give him all my love, all my money, everything. You know, he was a pretty simple kid to afford at the time because it was just one of him and I could get him anything that he needed. Well, me and my husband, I'm sorry, I don't do this alone. I have a husband, yes, and he is also part of the children's lives as well. But when I listen to Mommy podcast, okay, it's not to Daddy podcast. But anyway, anything he needed, we could provide. And so I found out that I was pregnant with my daughter 1 month after Bryce's first birthday. And I freaked out. I literally sat in a bath towel for like an hour just freaking out that I am pregnant again, because I didn't think that I could get pregnant like a traditional girl. Like, I thought that I could get pregnant like a different way. Like, I wasn't expecting to be able to have a surprise pregnancy like this because of my PCOS. I literally thought that God was going to perform a miracle of a second child the same way, but we all know God he don't have to do the same miracle the same way. Like those 2 blind men in the Bible, he spit on that one guy and then the other guy, he said, just open your eyes to see. Anyway, I found out that the baby was a girl, and so I was super thankful to God for fulfilling his promise to me, because I was very specific in my promise to him. And that's one thing, you got to be specific, because God will give you the things that you desire, but you got to be specific. And I said, Lord, I want 2 kids, and I want for my son to come first, and I want for him to be a big brother to his little sister. I don't want for them to be a lot of years apart, kind of close in age. But honey, when I said that he got specific, he really did. And he gave me just what I asked for. And so my pregnancy with Mackenzie was a very emotional one. And physically, the pregnancy was rough because I started in a different place and weight with her. And I felt like my son did not have enough time with me alone as his mother. And I felt like I just was not in the best place to bring another child into this world. And when I had my daughter, I definitely was super excited about it. I was so happy to be able to see her little face. But I think that it took some time for me to really grasp that I was now a mom of two. And so in those 6 postpartum weeks that they talk about where you're not supposed to do nothing, I did all the things except for that one big thing. I didn't do that. But I definitely picked up my son and held him and definitely tried to balance the two of them, try to be super mom, and child, my body paid for it because I definitely pulled a muscle or something in my stomach and I was in pain for weeks. And the only thing that I could do was take that C-section cocktail of ibuprofen and Tylenol to deal with the pain, and it was just too much to bear at times. So I quickly learned that, I can't do all things. Anyway, so with Mackenzie, I was a bit sad and overwhelmed during those postpartum weeks because I felt like I really could not handle the task of 2 kids because my son is a toddler and he's toddlering. He's 2. And I'm not going to say he's terrible because that's not a nice word. What I am going to say is that he is very spirited and he loves to have fun and he loves to play and he likes to really express his emotions. And so at times, there would be times where he didn't understand why he can't sit on mommy's lap or why he can't climb all over me or why he can't just lay on top of his sister. He doesn't he understand that she's small, and it just felt overwhelming, like extremely overwhelming during that time. But I found my footing. I got my balance back. We're doing great now. And at the times that we don't do great, I reach out for help. And during the times where it feels like it's a lot, I call Tara and, just kind of debrief and things like that. And so I relied on God and my family to get through the tough beginning. And then I fell in love with the cutest little girl. My daughter has the most serious RBF in the world. She's always just like this. Oh, sorry for those that are listening. You guys can't see, but go to YouTube and then you can see. But she's got a resting bee face and she's always just has that look and I love it. But anyway, she's such a joy to be the mother to, and I love having 2 kids. They are the lights of my life and I love being a mom. And the reason I started this podcast is because of all of these things. I started this podcast for people who don't understand what being a mom is like, or those who really do understand, or those that are overwhelmed, or those that are touched out like I often am, and those that are outnumbered. When both of your kids are crying at the same time, what are you supposed to do? I started this for all of those people, but also to kind of get the story about how great God is and how he performed this miracle in my life. And so every time I get to stare at the faces of my 2 little miracles, it is just the best thing in the whole world to me. And I hope that you continue to listen. I have such wonderful things coming up. Let's take a break. For those of you that are watching on YouTube, this will probably be the end of this episode for you. Go ahead back to Spotify or Apple Podcasts and listen because my camera battery is about to die. So let's take a break. All right, welcome back to Two Mommy Podcast. For those of you that were watching on YouTube, I'm so sorry to have to cut you short, but Listen, camera batteries die. I actually want a new camera to do all of this stuff on. But anyway, I'm so excited about this podcast. I am going to do different segments each week and kind of celebrate our mommy wins and our mommy woes. So if you have a mommy win or a mommy woe, make sure that you go and email to mommypod@gmail.com. That's TOOMMMYPOD@gmail.com. And we'll feature it on this show. Also, I'm going to do a segment called Budget Says No for those of us that really deal with, having multiple kids and having to provide for them. We are going to do some great mom shopping tips and all of those things in between, different talking segments, things that are happening here in the world of parenthood and everything in between. So I really, really hope that this was something enjoyable for you. I hope that you'll come back next week where we'll have a new topic of discussion. And I hope that your new year has started great. My goal this year is to definitely get more stamina because my daughter is going to be 1 in May and I cannot handle chasing 2 toddlers. So we'll definitely be working out and, kind of just really kind of just working through this holding place that I'm in now. Me and my husband are believing God for so many wonderful things. And I'm praying that this is the year that he really, really finds it fit to kind of give us the things that we're desiring. So we'll see. We will see what God has planned for us this year. I'm so excited about this podcast. I am going to try and be as consistent with this thing that God has given me as He is consistent with waking me up every morning. So we will see you guys next week and hear you guys next week, or you'll hear us next weekend. I hope that you've enjoyed this and I hope that you'll come back. All right, you guys have a wonderful week. Make sure you catch all the mommy content on Instagram. Bye.